It goes without saying that the Tyrannosaurus Rex is by far the most popular dinosaur in the Jurassic Park franchise. That's why many fans had a pretty big issue with the Spinosaurus coming out of nowhere and killing the Tyrant Lizard King pretty quickly in JP3. For over a decade now, there have been petitions and angry fan debates ranting on about how distasteful that was for the first two movies. And for a long time, it didn't really do anything but create a divide between those that liked the third Jurassic Park and those that didn't. That is, until Colin came into the franchise and made it his job to move the story forward while simultaneously giving fans what they wanted. This resulted in a Tyrannosaurus vs. Spinosaurus rematch petition actually coming to the writer-director during the development for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, which brings us to the topic at hand today. Yep, that Spino vs. Rex rematch was real and was going to happen in the latest Jurassic film. The details surrounding it are pretty interesting to say the least, and I think it's something that we all should really talk about. Now, I think we need to start this discussion with an acknowledgement of the petition that actually reached Trevorrow. Fans that were pretty upset with how the fight in JP3 went down have been very vocal about having the T-Rex eventually come back and absolutely destroy the Spinosaurus for a number of reasons, some of which are actually paleontologically based, which is kinda admirable. With the T-Rex having the most devastating bite force of all terrestrial animals, meaning the baddest and most factually destructive bite from any creature that lived on land, you'd think that bite in the neck of the Spino would have spelled certain doom for the new creature, but we all know that didn't happen. And because the Rex lost the fight like that, this series has had a number of things change within it years after. Most interesting of which, in my opinion, was the very existence of Jurassic World, a movie which went out of its way to provide the audience with substance and subtext on how making a bigger, badder dinosaur for the sake of being bigger and badder could destroy what's come before. I really liked that message, and it was enough for me to let go of most of my displeasures with JP3 and kinda just accept the movie for what it was. Others didn't really share my sentiments though, which of course leads us to the production of Fallen Kingdom. Now, I've heard very little of what actually was going to happen during this rematch, but I'll go ahead and tell you everything I understand about it as of now. You know that scene where Rexy takes out the Carnotaurus and does that loud bellow in front of that awesome wide shot of the volcano? That's a really good shot. Well, originally, that Carno was supposed to be the Spino after the fight. Apparently, all of the dinosaurs would run away from the volcano during its eruption, except for a couple of stragglers who were falling behind. This was going to be the Spinosaurus and Tyrannosaurus, who couldn't stop snapping at each other during the big dinosaur exodus scene. Eventually, the two of them couldn't take it anymore because they just flat out hated each other so much. So they would have stopped right where the gyrosphere was to give us a huge standoff and eventually engage in a massive dinosaur fight, during which Rexy was going to annihilate the Spino and the movie would presumably continue the way we saw it on film. Now, to tell you the truth, I don't know if I would have loved this scene or thought it was a little too much, but Trevorrow and Bayona definitely thought it was more of the latter. That's why they decided to just have the Carnotaurus attack the Sinoceratops before it gets put down by Rexy. I know that the idea behind the new fight was meant to portray how beat up and malnourished the animals were since they weren't being taken care of after Jurassic World fell, and ILM has stated that this is why most of them look sickly and pale, but I just keep thinking about seeing the Spinosaurus again on the big screen and how much of a smile it would have brought to my face. And this is coming from a fan that holds JP3 as his least favorite. Surely some of the fans that loved that movie would have gotten a kick out of it. But alas, that scene was altered and the Spinosaurus has yet to return. Now, because of the nature of this particular deleted concept, I kind of want to speculate a bit on how the remainder of the film would have played out had they kept that in. And before I go any further, I want to explain that the following are just my thoughts and presumptions, and definitely not anything that's meant to be taken too seriously. That being said, I can't help but to wonder whether or not Eli Mills' death would have had the Spino in place of the Carno as well. Most people chalk Mills' death scene up as a tribute to the late great Eddie Carr. But the size of the Carno stops it from being a full-on ripple in the water to the lost world. But imagine if it was the Spinosaurus that was supposed to help tear that murdering scumbag apart. That, to me, would have been an interesting sight, and something that lines up with the Carno being dropped in as a Spino replacement earlier. Either way, Mills' death is definitely one of the coolest, and the compies nibbling on his severed leg is something that's going to lead me to redoing my top 10 Jurassic kills when the movie hits Blu-ray. But what are all of your thoughts and opinions on this deleted fight? Would you have liked to have seen the Spino Rex rematch, or are you like me and thought Jurassic World did a fine job of sending the message tastefully with subtext? I must admit, I would love to see the Spino again, but I don't know if it's cool to just bring it back and kill it. That being said, I'm interested in hearing all of your opinions in the comments down below. Now, before I go, I want to thank my game wardens, like Ryan Lebrecht, as well as all of my InGen executives. I'd also like to thank my park workers and InGen hunters as well. Words can't really express how awesome it is to have you guys tell me how much you enjoy the stuff that I do, and I seriously am eternally grateful for every ounce of support that you've shown me. Now, I'd like to thank you all for watching this video, and hope that you all enjoyed today's content. If you feel like I deserve it, I'd appreciate the like, and hope that you'll consider subscribing if you're interested in hearing from me again. I'll see you all in the next video, guys, and as always, take it easy.